Hi and welcome back. For today's class, we're going to begin lying on the back, working on engaging the backs of the legs. If you have a Swiss ball, you can do it from a Swiss ball. If you don't, you can do it lying down and sliding your heels on a towel. Whatever you have, I'll show you how to do it. And then, we're going to work on opening up the hip and getting deep into pigeon, working on the 90-90. So hip flexors and also working on opening up the piriformis outer hip. So let's get started lying down on the back with whatever you have. You might also want to have a block for today's class, something to lift up onto. So first just lie down on your back and find neutral. Find neutral pelvis. Feel your lower back curves. Let your shoulders relax, your neck relax. Now seal your upper arm bones down into the ground. Breathe all the way down into your belly. Then as you exhale, feel the backs of your legs and your glutes start to contract. And then slide your heels towards you like you're trying to scrub the floor. Pause when you pull them in as much as you can, and then push the heels out. Breathe in. Exhale, pull in. And push out. Keep that going. We're going to slide in and out 8 times. Now let me show you how it's done on the ball. In case you're using the ball, finding the same neutral spine, you'll lift up, engage the backs of the legs and glutes, pull in, lift, and then slowly reach out. Exhale to lift up. Engage glutes, backs of the legs. Slide in. Squeeze up. Slowly stretch out. Keep it going. I think we got 5 more to go. Keep the ribs in. Keep the buttock in. And as you lift up, think of tipping your tailbone towards your heels, tucking the ribs in before you pull in. All right, so that completes that. Then from here, we're going to do another sliding exercise to start to warm up the quadriceps. So I'm just going to fold my mat over in half so I have room to slide. You don't have to do that if you got room to slide. So I'll plant my right foot onto the mat. And let's work to find good posture for the spine again. So pelvis in neutral, shoulders open, chest open. And then I want you to slide and lower. And then stand back up with your left foot right next to your right. Oh, it doesn't work on the mat. I got to come off the mat. Forgot how to do it. Okay, so then weight comes into the right foot, standing up tall like you're being pulled up. From a hair on top of your head, you'll slide the foot back, lower it slow, and then feel the center right heel push down, the outer buttock grab, pull to come back up. Inhale to slowly slide back. Center heel presses down, outer butt grabs back in and under. Stand. Inhale to slide back. Center heel, outer butt. Stand. 2 more. You can even do that fist motion if it helps. Change sides. So weight right into the center left heel, pull up through your crown, slowly slide it back. Press center left heel, grip outer butt, slide it back in. Center heel, outer butt, grip. Am I breathing loud enough for you? Squeeze to come up. 2 more. Pause at the bottom, make sure that you have good posture, chest is open. Last one. Good posture through the spine, neutral pelvis. Squeeze outer butt. Come back up. Let's do that exercise on the back one more time, and then we'll get started. Now, as a progression, to make the exercise more difficult, if you're doing the slide on the towel, you can try hovering the butt off the ground as you pull in, like so. Oh my gosh, but that makes it like 10 times harder. So if it was already hard enough, remember the intention is just to activate the glutes and the hamstrings. Make it hard enough to where you're not cramping or injuring yourself. We'll do 8 of these. Now, this exercise is not only great for your glutes and hamstrings, but it's also good at strengthening your posture muscles, helps to open up your chest, strengthen your back muscles, the back, shoulders and the muscles in the backs of the shoulders. So the whole time think of sealing the upper arm bones down. Use your breath. If you're on the ball, you're inhaling on the way out, exhaling to lift and pull in. Last one. All right, then move your ball off to the side. And we'll come to standing at the top of the mat. So as you stand, feel the center of your heel bones, open up your toes, bring your palms together. Breathe all the way down towards the pit of your abdomen and let it out. Just feel all the heat that you've built, the energy pulsing through the body, energy channels awake. And then we're going to do one more breath with movement type exercise before we go into the sun salutation, which is another breath of movement exercise. So take your feet outer hips distance apart, and I want you to sit your buttocks back like you're sitting into a chair, cross the arms in front of you, and then drive through your heels, come up to stand, raise your arms up. Inhale to slowly lower, cross the arms, exhale, drive through your heels, and stand. Inhale to lower. Exhale, drive through the heels and come up. Now on this one, take the arms into a Y position, engage your glutes, tip your heart up, look up. Again, sit low. And come back up. Glutes engaged, tip your heart up. Then pull your arms into a cactus position. Reach the arms back up. Pull the arms into cactus. Reach back up. Pull into cactus, reach back up. Then with your right hand, take a hold of your left wrist, reach over to the side, Back up. Left hand takes the right wrist. Reach over to the left. Breathe into your side body like you're opening up gills. Come back up. Spread your arms. Fold forward. Inhale into a flat back. Step back into a plank. First plank of the day. Here we go. Hold. Shoulders balanced over the heels of the hands. Strong in your core. Keep the rib cage buttoned up, lifted away from the ground. Get wide across the collarbone, spread. Lower down slow and controlled onto your belly from knees or right from plank. Inhale into low cobra. From the bra line down, press down into the ground, and then from the bra line up, start to coil into a back bend. A little less from the neck, more from the thoracic. Lower your heart, stretch back, downward facing dog. Walk your feet forward to the front of your mat and fold, let your head drop. Little bend in the knees. Feel that the pelvis can tip over the thigh bones, the hamstrings can spread evenly. Let the whole back of the spine open up. And then roll yourself up, one vertebra at a time. Raise your arms up. And fold forward. Inhale, find a flat back. Step back and lower, chaturanga. Inhale into cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bend your knees and look forward. Step or float up to the front. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, Samastiti. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back and lower, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Take a deep breath in your down dog. Oh, geez. My mom's calling me right in the middle of class. Unbelievable. From your downward facing dog, look forward. Step or float up lightly to the front. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, Samastiti. Inhale into chair pose. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back and lower, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Raise your right leg up behind you, inhale. Exhale, step your foot up to your thumb. Lower your back knee. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale into cactus arms. Inhale, arms back up. Bring your left hand down and twist. Reach the right arm up. Bring your right hand down onto the inside of your right foot. Swivel your left foot in towards the fireplace and then open yourself up. You can use a block if you feel that you're getting crunched up here. Stretch your left arm over. Bring your hand back down onto the inside of your foot. Curl your back toes under, lift your back knee up. So both hands are on the inside of the foot here. Step back into downward dog. Inhale your left leg up from the inner thigh. Exhale, step your foot up to your thumb. Lower your back knee down. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale into cactus. Inhale, arms back up. Bring your right hand down and twist. Bring your left hand down, swivel the right foot in, and open up. Turn from your belly, turn from your rib cage, instead of narrowing the sacrum and torquing the sacrum, and then take your arm over. I like to come way up onto the fingertips or block in this one. Bring your hands back down onto the inside of the foot, swivel the foot, the right leg that is. Pause there for a moment. Then curl your back toes and lift your back knee up. Step back for vinyasa. From plank lower to chaturanga. Upward dog. Exhale to down dog. Bend your knees and look forward. Step or hop to the top. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into chair. Stand Samasthiti. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step or float back into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. Step your right foot for warrior one. Ride your breath up. Drive the center heel, feel the outer butt, just like we practiced in that sliding exercise. Hands down, step back. Vinyasa, or just go right back to dog. Step your left foot. Warrior one. Inhale, come up. Exhale, chaturanga. Move through your vinyasa. Bend your knees and look forward. Step or float to the front. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale into chair. Stand Samastiti. Let's do one more B salutation together. Inhale, chair. Exhale, fold. Now flow with your breath on your own to finish it out. Hold in your downward facing dog. Reconnect to your breath. From downward dog, let's come for Vashisthasana, side plank. So roll into the outside edge of your left foot and take your right arm up. As a modification, as always, you can drop the knee down. To add on, you can try to take your right big toe up. Practice the variation that works for you today that's helping your body. So whether it's promoting more strength, more opening, whatever works for you today. Keep the tailbone in, rib cage in, core of the neck long. Come back into plank pose. Stretch back into dog. Change sides, roll the outside edge of your right foot, take your left arm up. Modify by dropping the knee. Add on by taking your top big toe up. Check into your core, tailbone in, rib cage in, core of the spine tall. Slowly come back into plank pose. Step your right foot for warrior one. Inhale, come up. Open to your side, warrior two. Check in with your front leg. Feel that you still have the same action from sliding exercise. So if your hips are tighter, that will mean that you need to take your left foot more forward to be able to access that action in your hip. If you're on this tight rope, the butt will tend to swing out, the glute will turn off. So by taking the foot, cheating the foot more forward, you'll be able to get into that front leg action better. To me, that's more important. Find the centered heel, outer hip, core of the spine tall. Make sure that you're not projecting your rib cage forward, but your back ribs are nice and tall off of your kidneys and your buttock. Then with your arms spread to the side, let's bend the elbows. And as we inhale, come into cactus arms. And as you exhale, rotate back. Inhale back into cactus arms. Exhale, rotate back. Inhale into cactus. Then spread the arms extended side angle. Go forearm to thigh or hand onto the block, left arm over your ear. Drive through that center right heel. Feel the outer butt turned on. Press through your feet and come back to warrior two. Straighten your right leg. Now hands to your hips. Make sure that right thigh is turned all the way and then tip out over your right leg. Trikonasana. Press through your feet, come back up. Bend your right knee. Reverse warrior, flip your right palm up, reach up. Vinyasa. Step your left foot up, warrior one. Inhale, come up. Open up to your side. Remember, you can cheat that back foot more forward so that there's more space. You're not on such a tight rope, rather. Press straight down to your left center heel. Grip outer hip. Make sure that the rib cage is in. You aren't sinking in your middle. Now this time with the arms straight, externally rotate your arms as much as you can. Work for a little bit more range, and then internally rotate. Externally rotate, work for a little more range. Internally rotate. Last one, externally. This is just to give you something to think about while you're holding warrior two, so you're not like, damn, we're holding warrior two for a long ass time. Hold the external rotation and now reach from your shoulders to your fingertips. Extended side angle, forearm to thigh or hand onto the block or floor. Take your right arm over. Reach down through your feet, come back up. Straighten your left leg. Make sure that you have that turn in your thigh, tip from your pelvis out over your leg, kneecap pointing straight ahead, center heel, space between big toe mound and second toe mound grounds down. And then just like we practiced with that kneeling opening pose at the beginning, where we twisted and then opened up, make sure that it's not just closing here to open you, but you keep some space for the sacrum lower back, soften your belly, and then turn your rib cage. Take your top arm up. Press through your feet, come back up. Bend your left knee. Reverse warrior, flip your palm, inhale. Vinyasa. right foot steps, warrior two. Come right up for Vera two with your new and improved stance. And let's go for modified side angle. Put your hand down on the inside of your foot, block your floor. Wrap your left arm behind your back. Take a half bind or a full bind. Nice trap. Now put your right hand back down if you're in the full bind. Look down, slide your back foot a foot closer. Put your right hand a foot in front of your pinky toe and then float your back leg up. Breathe down through the lower back, lengthen the tail out of your back. And then you can hold here or bend your knee and reach back with your hand for your foot. If you've taken the foot, feel your left buttock engage and the front of your left hip open. Roll your heart open. Let go of your foot and open up if you're holding it. Now from here, lower your left hand. Lower your left leg to meet your right. And then take your feet outer hips distance apart. Slowly start to lower the buttocks. Coming into Malasana. Hands to prayer position. Then from here, see if you can slide your right shoulder a little bit deeper. Be mindful of that space in your lower back that we started with at the beginning by softening your navel to the front of the spine, and then start to spin your chest open. The right arm reaches out, keeping the right knee pried open so that it doesn't cave into the midline. Focus on being on the center of your heels instead of collapsing. And then you can hold there or wrap the left arm for a half bind or go for a full bind. Release that, come back to center. Then place your hands down and practice going into crow pose or the narrow leg Malasana. 5 breaths, whichever one you're working on. Stretch back into down dog or hop back for a vinyasa. Second side, step your left foot. Warrior two. Inhale, come up from your strong left outer hip. Modified side, place your hand down. Wrap your right arm, half bind or full bind. Then if you're in the full bind, put your left hand down, wiggle your back foot in, and step up. Remember that opening in your lower back. See if you can twist and open up without losing that opening there. And then hold there, or if you did it on the other side, you'll bend the knee and reach back with the hand. The right buttock tones in and down to help to open up the front of the right hip and quads. Balance effort to find stability and opening with ease and relaxation. Release your foot if you're holding it, open up. Lower your right hand down. And lower your right leg. Feet go outer hips distance apart. Slowly squat down into Malasana. Keep your center heel bones grounded. Try not to collapse the ankles in or out to squat deeper. Then slide the left shoulder a little deeper into it. And from your left side lower belly, soften and stretch it up towards your right chest as you turn open. Try not to torque from the sacrum to do it. Hold there or wrap. And release. Then go for crow pose round 2. Option to go from tripod headstand into crow. Option to do regular crow, hang in Malasana. Or you could do Bhujapidasana, where you slide your hands behind your heels, plant the hands, and then cross the ankles. Whichever you're going to work on, we'll hold for 5 more breaths. You can also just work on the stretch to prepare for this pose, which I'll show now, is just this situation. Better you get it hanging out here, the easier it'll be to hook the feet and balance on your arms. Right away, if you notice that when you put yourself into one of these positions that you panic and you can't breathe, that's not a pose that you want to load. You should be able to hang out in the position, breathe, no problem, hang out for 5 breaths before you try to take it into an arm balance. Whichever one you got going on, we'll make our way back into downward facing dog now, through a vinyasa or not, your call. Then from downward dog, step your right foot for warrior 1. Inhale, come up. And into Parsvottanasana. Bring your hands behind your back. Step a little closer and straighten your right leg. Open up your chest and your shoulders. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward out over your leg. Now press down into your right big toe mound. Instead of falling on your right thigh, I want you to grip the front of the right hip a little bit so you create some space, like I could slide a rolled towel in between your hip and your belly. Then maintaining that, interlock your hands and reach your knuckles up and over, or use a strapper. Find your breath. Slow breathing in and out through your nose. See if the breath can help you to stretch just a little bit deeper into the pose. Let the breath help to calm you. One of my first teachers used to always say that you're looking for calm in a situation where you normally want to panic. calm in an unlikely situation. Press through your feet and come back up. Right hand to your hip, raise your left arm, and reach and twist. Then spin your chest, take your top arm up. Slide the skin from your back ribs down through the back of the left shoulder into the left knuckles. Let your breath help you to find length through your spine, which if you're too low, won't happen. So don't let the ego get involved. Come up high enough to where you can find the line of energy from your tail to your crown. Then look down at the ground, slide your hand and step up. Lower your right hand, fold forward, Uttanasana. Hook your big toes as you inhale, stretch your chest forward. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, roll yourself up to stand. Press down through your center left heel, pull up through your crown, just like we practiced before the lunging thing, and then bring your right knee up to your chest. So just practice getting the hip flexion necessary for Utthita Hasta without going into water skiing position. Still stand tall, which I know Lisa has mastered at this point. All right, so see if you can, instead of getting into the crunched, open yourself as you stand. And then from there, if you want to take your big toe or strap your foot and stretch it out, cool with me. Try not to go back to water skiing pose. Which for me, in my experience water skiing, that's just being drug underwater. So I can not figure out to let go of the rope. Okay, so then from here, as you stand tall over your left heel, we'll take the foot or both sides of the strap in the right hand, open up to the right with just the leg. Keep your navel pointing forward. Still see if you can stand tall. Good posture muscles being strengthened. If your balance is good, look over your left shoulder. Come back to center. Release the foot, arms up. Turn your thigh out. Cross your ankle just above your knee. Bring hands to prayer. Start to sit your buttock back. Hinge from the hip. Feel those muscles working to help you hinge. And work your edge. It might just be here. It might be hands to the wall if you're less flexible. Instead of rounding over, I'd like you to try to keep a long spine, neutral spine, and then maybe get the elbows to the shin. Intermediate step by putting something in between your shin and your elbows. Arm balance, people, if you can put your hands down, you're totally comfortable in this hip opener, then you can lean into the arm balance from here. So you should start to get the idea from today's class that the advanced poses are advanced variations of the very basic hip openers. Come back up to stand. So if you don't have good opening in the hip opener, you shouldn't try to jam yourself into the arm balance. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Vinyasa. And that's not to say like, oh yeah, I could get my hip in good external rotation and just like collapse and jam myself into it. And it'll look like I got good opening in the hip, but the rest of the body is sacrificed and everything is connected. So if we let the rest of the structure collapse so that we can get deeper, that's not a good thing. Step your left foot, warrior one. Bring your hands behind your back, take reverse prayer or press your knuckles together, Parsvottanasana. Now instead of doing the dump to go into it, I want you to lengthen, but keep this little activity here in the front of your hip. Press big toe mound, pull up into the front of the hip, feel that part engage as you go out over it. And it'll feel like it pulls you out of the pose, but it will get an opening in this part of your back that we're looking for. I spent years dumping into this part of my back to go deeper, and I paid for it. Don't make the same mistake. Then interlock your hands and reach your knuckles up and over, or use a strap or a towel if you have broad shoulders or tighter shoulders. Press to your feet, come back up. Long ass hold today. Raise your right arm and twist. Same thing here, soften the belly, spin the rib cage. And then let the skin on the back ribs release towards the back of the right shoulder, right knuckles. Let your chest position teach your left arm where to go instead of yanking your left arm behind you. Breathe through your nose. Where's your weight on your feet? Reach the left center heel, big toe mound down. If you have tighter hips and hamstrings, more width. Can walk the feet towards their own edge of the mat more, like left foot towards the left side of the mat, right foot to the right side, to help to give you more space. Look down, slide your hand and step up. Now in this one, if you're up on the block, you're going to get blocked with how much you can twist. To get into the full twist, the hand has to come down lower so that the rib cage can turn more. So just be aware of that. If you're struggling with the hip hamstring flexibility and you're up on something, don't expect to get deep into the twist. Don't try to force yourself. And then bring your hands down, fold forward. And we'll slide the hands underneath the feet. Release that. Come up to stand. Reach straight down to the center of the right heel as you bring your left knee up. Get the hip flexion. while still maintaining tall spine, and then hold that or take your foot out. Now just remember, your hamstring and hip tension can be a function of the exercise that you're doing. So lately I've been doing a little jogging with Ollie, running on the beach, and oh man, these hips and hamstrings are getting tight. Lost a little bit of my opening. That's just a function. Open to the side. So often I have students that are runners and they're like, oh, I can never get my hamstrings as open as I want. Well, it's necessary for your sport. So don't try to jam yourself and make yourself look like your expectation. Be where you're at in the pose, breathe there. To challenge yourself more, try looking over your right shoulder to challenge the balance. Bring it all back to center. Release, arms up. Turn the thigh out. Cross your ankle just above your knee and start to sit back. Instead of collapsing to get the elbows down, put something in between or put the hands at a wall. If you have this pose, elbows on the shin, and you can get a flat back, then you can progress deeper and even put the hands on the floor and fold deeper into this. But I first want to see that you could get this position. Flat back, buttock untucked, neck long, collarbones open, elbows to shin. Release that, come back up to stand. Ooh, it's an outer right butt experience now. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Step back to down dog or take a vinyasa. And hop to seated. Come into boat pose. Lower into low boat. Come back up in a boat. Cross your legs, hands down, lift up. Back to boat. Control to low boat. Back up in the boat, cross your legs the other way, hands down, pick up. Last one, Navasana. Ardha. Bring your right leg up, hands up and over to the outside of the right leg. Change. Move your buttocks and the backs of your ribs away from each other. Change. Change. Bring both legs up, lower your head down. Oh my gosh. Hands behind the head. Tuck your pubic bone to your chest and push up. Lift your butt up and crunch up. Lower back down. Breath in, breath out. Tuck pubic bone to chest, curl the tailbone up, move the buttocks away from the back ribs, and now crunch up. For 3, 2, lower down, lower your feet, open up your arms like cactus arms. Let your knees swivel over to the right as you look to your left. Come back to center, knees to the left as you look to your right. Back to center, hug your knees in, roll up. And then let's practice going upside down. Handstand, headstand, forearm balance, your call. Today I'm gonna work on showing you guys the forearm balance preparation, working on the external rotation of the arms. So if you have an inversion practice you wanna work on, that's fine, just go with that. Otherwise, being mindful to keep your biceps turned out. So think of like I drew an X on your bicep and you're trying to turn it outward, externally rotate. And we'll try to maintain that positioning as we turn the hands like karate chop hands. The more that you turn your hands in, you can see the more the biceps and shoulders, really it's the shoulder joint, is going to try to internally rotate. So we'll do this to help. Start with the palms turned up, supinated, and then keeping the X's on the biceps turned, we'll turn the palms. And then seal the forearm blade down. So really important that you don't rock to the outside or inside of that forearm blade, but like it's like the sharp edge of a knife slicing straight down. Slice from the elbow to the wrist evenly. Now see if you can keep that, just to create that pressure there and to keep the collarbones broad and the rib cage in might be a lot of work for some. Just creating this new focus. For others, we might be able to keep the rib cage, keep that pressure, and then lift the knees up an inch. If you lose it, just go back to pressing the forearms down with the knees down. If that's all easy, lift the hips all the way up. So you're in down dog on your forearms, but don't collapse and round the shoulders to do it. Then if that's all really good, try taking your right leg up. Now, to be honest, I lose my right one a little bit. So I'm just gonna work on this pose today because I'm really working on refining today. I'm gonna try to hover my knees up, keeping that rotation on the right one. So figure out what kind of day it is for you. If you want to work on big movements or if you want to work on refining, I'll leave it up to you. But good to work on that once in a while. Work on refining, finding out where the holes in your practice are, where your body tends to give up from. All right, when you finished your inversion, let's meet in child's pose with the knees close together and arms back. Then we can come into Supta Virasana or Supta Virasana preparation. If it's too gnarly on your knees, go for low lunge with the right foot forward, left knee down. Now remember when we were doing the Chapasana variation from Half Moon? If you did that, you worked on moving the buttock in, sealing the buttock in and down towards the back of the knee. It's the same action that you do here to get the opening and space from the front of the pelvis, as opposed to borrowing from the lower back. And then you should feel a stretch in your quads. And if your quads are already super open, then you'll feel it start to come up into the hip flexors. If you haven't been doing multiple runs to tire out your dog in the morning, then it might go right into your hip flexors instead of your quads. Of course, you can go back down onto your elbows or go onto a prop. Find your edge, be there and breathe. And release that. Time for a little bit of thoracic mobility. So we'll get either a ball or a foam roller. And with your hands behind your head, take a deep breath in, breathe down into your belly. And as you exhale, roll back over the roller or ball. I've seen, what are they called? The medicine balls, you know, those like weighted balls that buff guys throw against the wall at the gym. You ever seen that situation going down? Those guys like to throw things. Or what else is it used for? I don't know what else. Those things work good for this. Or basketballs. You can go over a basketball too. But it's the more height in the object, the more intense the back bend is going to be. And then curl yourself back up. We'll do one more back bend. This time we're going to hang out. So I would recommend putting a little something behind your head unless you have so much extension that your head goes to the ground. Use your breath to help to take you into the back bend. And then from there, you could take your arms overhead as long as your head is down onto something. Don't do it with an unsupported head. Hands come back behind your head to roll yourself up. All right, now, up to you. You could lie on your back and do 2 rounds of bridge and then Urdhva Dhanurasana, or just bridge, or you can lie on your belly and practice Dhanurasana. Ready? On your marks, get set, go. First one we'll hold for 5 breaths. Lower yourself down. Take a breath, whether you're in bridge or Urdhva or on your belly. And then for your second one, another option is you could work on camel. Okay. One more time. Bridge, Urdhva, camel, or Dhanurasana. And release. Then we'll make our way through upward facing dog now. So flip onto your belly, roll into up dog if you're on your back. Lower back down onto your belly. And then stretch or come up onto your hands and your knees. Turn your hands around so that your fingers point back, thumbs point out to the side. Let your spine hang out here in this position. A little stretch on our forearms. All right, now release that and make your way into Baddha Konasana. Seated bound angle. So with the soles of the feet together and the knees wide apart, sit up tall. Let the groins release and spread. Now I just want you to feel and diagnose how tight your hips are in this position, how tight your groins are, and if your knees are way up here, you're gonna wanna sit up on something for this next sequence. But if you can get the knee to level with your hip bone, then you'll be okay-ish on the ground. If you have a history of groin, hip issues, or even knee issues, I'm gonna recommend propping up. Put a bolster underneath you, a soft block, something. Okay, so from here, we're gonna go for the 90 and 90 position to work on pigeon. So I'm gonna start with the left leg forward and the right leg back. So I'll internally rotate the right thigh, take it to the side. So I wanna make a 90-degree angle with this left shin, knee, the front hip bone points straight to the knee as I turn to the knee. And then this leg is as close to 90 as possible. Now, the more I bring this ankle out to 90, the harder it's gonna be on this hip. So I can just bring this heel closer to my butt if it is too difficult. Now from here, we're just gonna work on, we've already warmed this hip up a bunch, but we're gonna work on more specific warming up before we do this stretch from the 90-90 position. So I want you to push straight down through your left knee and your left ankle. Imagine I had a scale under your ankle and underneath your knee, and you're starting to increase the pressure down. Use your hip flexor, come back up. Last one, drive down. Slowly lean yourself. You should feel that muscle. It's engaged, but it's getting longer as it's engaged. And then control back up from the hip flexor. Relax that. Now we're gonna work on the back leg. So from here, you might have the strength to lift your leg off, but to do it, I'm gonna have us take some pressure off the hip by walking the hands onto the outside of the left knee, leaning forward and over a bit to the side. That should take some of the pressure off this leg. Now, if you're still super tight in here, then you can just slide the leg along the floor. Like if from the beginning you can put the towel underneath your knee, whatever. But if you have the strength to, you're going to try to hover this leg up, back leg, and then reach it back into extension. Pause there. The buttock should squeeze down so you can stretch this part, and then lift back up and slide towards you. Oh, I got a little bit of weakness in this leg, so I have to slide the foot. Again, squeeze and slide back. Try not to do it just from your neck. Use your core, your whole body is working. Feel the butt engage so the hip can lengthen, and then pull it back up. One more time. Maybe oh, now I can get the whole thing to lift. Feel the butt engage. I lied, we're doing a fourth one. Back up. Now here's the last one. Butt engages, reach it back, and back up. Good. Sit up tall again in your 90-90 position. Now just feel how much more open everything feels after doing that. And then bring the hands back, lift this leg up, or slide back, and we'll go back into the pigeon position. Now see if you can start to walk your hands around the front leg without anything tensing up. Oh yeah, I got way better range of motion now. Okay, now for the last part, I want you to pretend like you're squeezing the earth with your legs. Squeeze down the pressure, 10 pounds, 20 pounds. Remember, you don't want to like pull on an injury, a knee, a hip, whatever. Low back. And then release that and pretend like you're going to lift your left leg and lift your right leg off. Both are going to lift at the same time. And then relax. Let's try the other side. We'll do that exercise on the other side, and then we'll play with just coming into pigeon pose after that. So find the 90 and 90 as best you can. The right hip bone turns to the knee. Okay, we'll drive straight down through this right leg, knee and ankle, like I had a scale underneath, and you're increasing. We'll start at 3 pounds, 5, 10. Strong effort without straining. And then keeping the pressure down, start to lean your chest, eccentrically loading. And then feel the hip flexor bring you back up. Press down through the knee and ankle, and then control. And then right from the front of the hip, come back up. Drive down. Now I can feel on this side, this butt doesn't want to work as well. You might feel one or the other side. Last one, push down. And back up. Now let's work on the back leg. So walk your hands to the outside of your right knee, lean forward and over a bit so you have space to move this leg. And now, if possible, lift back leg, and then keeping the buttock moving out of your lower back, slide it back towards straight. And then contract the muscles in the hip, lift back up, go forward. Again, lift, reach back, and lift, slide forward. Lift and slide back, lift and slide forward. Last one. See if you can get a little bit further, gripping the buttock out of the lower back, and slide forward. Sit up in your 90 and 90. Ooh, So much more spacious now. And then bring the hands forward, out to the side, slide back into the pigeon. And just notice how much more open that feels. Now, push down into the ground. And we'll drive down 5 pounds, crushing the earth. 10, 20, squeeze, whole body effort, squeeze your core, squeeze your back, chest, squeeze. And then the opposite, start to relax off the earth, lift the front leg off and lift the back leg off. They won't actually lift, but as if you're trying to. Remember, don't pull on any injuries. And release. Whew. Sit Upavista Konasana for a moment. And then let's come into single leg pigeon on the left side to finish. Now, if you're not a single leg pigeon person, if it bothers your knee or whatever, then I just want you to modify. Remember what I showed standing, you lift up onto junk. Elbows come up a little, or you stay up on your hands until you find the amount of load that's appropriate, the range of motion that's appropriate for you. But you might feel after that work like, wow, this is the nicest pigeon I've done in a long time. And so that's one of the reasons why I felt that this mobility work is so important, why the course is up, and yeah. Instead of trying to jam yourself into your joints, you're teaching yourself to control yourself through range of motion to make the joints healthier. Let's change sides. Okay, so this is the funky hip. This was the one that didn't want to work as well, and I can feel that it's a lot tighter. And then this is also the knee that doesn't want to work as well. So it's all connected into this, the ankle and the hip. If you got a funky knee situation or hip situation, and release that. Sit over onto your hip. Bring your leg around for Paschimottanasana. Raise your arms up, inhale. Exhale, reach out for your feet. If you're running out of time, you can go right into corpse from here. Get into the corpse early so you get your corpse in. If you have extra time, we'll do final spinal twist. Lie on your back. Hug the right knee into your chest. Then open your arm to the side and take your leg over onto a roller or a block. Oh my gosh, it's the best feeling. and release that. Come back to center. Change sides. One of my local students, I won't say his name, Dave, he always, how long can I stay in this one safely? Because it's so good. You just want to hang out here forever. All right, so first just hug the knee in. Open your arm out slowly. And release for Shavasana. Give your body permission now to completely relax. And if you are part of the tight hips, chest, and shoulders club, I'm showing a variation of Shavasana that could help out. Important though to practice regular Shavasana as well and not always go to tight hip, shoulder, chest club variation. So when we work hips, I used to just think of the body as, okay, if my hamstring is tight, I just have to stretch the back of my leg more. But the more I got schooled on how fascia works, how the body is connected, it isn't just one area, but it's all connected. So for example, when we work on the hips, you might feel deep releases up through your back, up through the front, up through the belly. Even just working on the outer hip, you can feel a release deep through the legs, through the shoulders, maybe even into your neck. You could think of it like if you're wearing a tight fitting t-shirt, and then I grab the shirt and I tie a big knot right in the middle of the shirt, then everything won't be able to move as well. You try to raise your arms up, the tension is going to be pulling more. So when you release that knot in your hip, for example, everything else can flow and release and move better. Feel that deep release here. Notice how good your body feels. Give yourself permission to go deeper. Then bend your knees. Roll to your side. Press yourself up to seated. Bring your palms together. Namaste. Hey, thanks so much for joining me today. Hope that you enjoyed the class. I hope that felt like a great pigeon for you. If it did, let me know, and I'll see you in the next part of our course.